We often do things that completely change the course of our lives, sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse. You'd think that this type of stuff just happens to us, but nope, the animal kingdom has to deal with it too. From a peacock with a drinking problem to a bear just trying to get a midnight snack, here are 25 animals that were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Peacocks are usually in the wild or at a zoo. The liquor store is the last place you'd imagine them to be in, but this peacock decided to visit its local liquor store in Southern California. Animal control was called right away, but by the time they arrived, the peacock had already destroyed $500 worth of alcohol. Snakes coming out of the toilet is a thing that everyone fears, but no one actually witnessed it. Unfortunately for the Texas residents, this nightmare became their reality. They've tried removing it using a golf club, but nothing seemed to work out for them. When you go to watch a soccer game, the last thing anyone would expect is a cat coming out onto the field. This cat accidentally interrupted the game and quickly realized its mistake. The poor cat couldn't find a way out and seemed terrified by the crowd. Fortunately, someone caught it and got it out of the stadium. Can you imagine trying to play golf and then a bunch of kangaroos show up out of nowhere and stop you from playing? Well, that's exactly what happened to this golfer in Australia. As she was aiming for the hole, kangaroos showed up and blocked her view. Someone decided to bring their cat to a baseball game without realizing how horrible that idea would be. The cat ended up getting stuck on the stadium stand with nowhere to go. Thankfully, a few people below saw what was going on and caught the cat with the American flag. This koala decided to take a visit to its nearest hospital. It looked around everywhere for the staff, but it couldn't find anyone around. After realizing that there was no one at the hospital, the koala decided to take its leave. The hospital staff only found out about the unusual patient when they looked through their surveillance camera footage. This huge monitor lizard randomly showed up at a 7-Eleven and decided to hang out at the very top of the shelves. People were screaming and laughing in the background at this shocking customer. One of the employees called reptile handlers and lured the lizard to a nearby bush. These office workers were just having a regular meeting about their own work when something very unexpected happened. A humongous python fell from their ceiling and fell in the middle of them. They quickly ran out of the room and called the Wildlife Protection Center and took the 11-pound snake to the wild. Sheep are the pretty clumsy animals that tend to get stuck everywhere. This man decided to help this sheep after he realized its head had gotten stuck in the fence. After he freed it, the sheep tripped and rolled down the cliff. Fortunately, it got back on its feet when it reached the ground. This cow started panicking really hard after its foot got stuck in the gate. When you thought things couldn't get worse, it got its other foot stuck too. Fortunately for the cow, this guy was able to get it out of the messy situation before it broke its legs. Deers don't really think before doing something. This deer somehow got stuck on top of a fence between two backyards. The neighbor from the other side of the fence got on top of a chair and pushed the deer back to the ground so it could go back into the woods. Imagine coming home after a long day at work only to find a raccoon hanging from your light fixture. Well, these people didn't have to imagine that. These people had no idea what to do about the raccoon and kept screaming, which only scared the animal even more. Legend has it that the raccoon is still hanging on to their light fixture. Horses are pretty good at getting out of deep holes as long as they aren't filled with mud. This horse fell into this mud hole thinking it was just part of the ground. No matter how hard it tried, it just couldn't get out. So these people decided to help and pushed it out of the mud. This bear was a little hungry, so it decided to break into its neighbor's house while they were asleep. It tried looking around for food everywhere in the kitchen and even went through their fridge. Thankfully, the owner didn't go downstairs for a late-night snack, or else he probably would have became one instead. Ostriches are very aggressive towards humans. so they're usually only in the wild or in a confined space. But this ostrich managed to escape and started running around on the streets of Quezon City. The ostrich ended up getting captured, but no one really knows where it came from in the first place. This guy got sick of a squirrel that kept eating from his bird feeder, so he decided to make a squirrel-proof one. But this squirrel still managed to get the food, but it also got stuck in there. The man got the squirrel out of the cage, and the squirrel learned its lesson. Tortoises are generally very calm creatures that can even be kept with other animals. But this one got really angry after a few pigeons started drinking some water near its pond. So much that it literally grabbed one and took it underwater, then ate it. Now the pigeons know not to mess with that tortoise. This clumsy goat got stuck in a hole head first. It couldn't really breathe and was crying out for someone to help it. Fortunately, someone saw the little guy screaming and helped it out. It was reunited with its herd right afterward. Donkeys are actually very smart animals, but this one was not. It somehow managed to get stuck in a very small gap between two trees. Since it was way too big for the gap, it couldn't get out no matter how hard it tried. So these guys cut through the wood so the donkey could be set free. This guy decided to release this mouse that he'd become friends with into the wild. At first, everything went well, and the guy even seemed a little sad about losing his small friend. Just a few seconds later, a hawk came and snatched the mouse away. It's safe to say the man was not happy. Hamsters love running on hamster wheels, but this guy took it to a whole new level. He loved going on the hamster wheel so much that he literally got stuck on it. Fortunately, it managed to free itself after the other hamsters started running on the hamster wheel too. These guys were just fishing when they realized the pelican had gotten tangled up in a fish line. The fishing line was wrapped all around the poor guy. One of the men went towards it and cut the fishing line to set it free. Pigs are total klutzes, so they can get stuck anywhere. This pig's head got stuck in a bucket. A guy that was driving by saw the pig and realized what situation the pig was in, so he decided to help it out. He got out of the car and tossed the bucket off its head. Fawns are very nervous and shy creatures that don't really know what to do in tough situations. This poor fawn got stuck in the middle of traffic and completely froze in its tracks. Fortunately, this man used a box to gently push the fawn off the road. This woman got home after a long day at work. Everything seemed normal at first until she realized a mountain lion was sleeping behind her sofa. The woman knew what to do since she used to work at the wildlife rescue. She gave the big cat a lot of space and left the house. She looked at it through her window until it left. Alright, have you ever encountered an animal that was in the wrong place at the wrong time? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Trend Joint, and we'll see you in the next one.